All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Midnight Magic Musings channel. I am your humble host, Lord Cephas. I am joined once again by the Earl of Florida. And tonight we are doing our Realm of Reality episode number 6. Now, we want to give you a little bit of extra content. So we had something kind of burning in our brains the last couple of days, and that is there something that might come on the television that if we were to walk into the room and it were on TV, or if we sat down in front of the television and it came on, it could potentially cause us to get up and walk out of the room and not come back until either the TV has been shut off or the channel's been changed. And so we thought, what are three? We can't say they're our top three necessarily. What are some of the big three things that absolutely turn us the other way? Like, nope, can't do it, can't be in the same room with it. And so, Earl, I know you've come up with three. So, do you want to throw out your first one?
Sure, I'll throw it out there.
Okay.
So when I was a young earl in the realm of my parents' house,
Mm-hmm.
I would equate this to when you eat a certain kind of food so much when you're a kid. Some people, it's hot dogs. They don't like hot dogs as adults.
Sure.
For me, we ate bologna a lot back in the day, and I just don't eat bologna. I can't do it. I had it so much. So this follows in the same vein. Law and Order. Dun dun. Now
Wow.
let me
Wow.
explain this. For
Ooh.
a period of time in the '90s, the police procedurals exploded on TV, and you know what I'm talking about. You had Law and Order, you had CSI, you had JAG. Yes, I did like JAG because it was a little different. NCIS. I mean, and then all those shows ended up having like multiple children and all over the place. So you could turn the TV on and just flip to a random channel and you're watching a police procedural. I blame Law and Order. You could go further back and maybe blame, NYPD Blue or whatever, but for me, it's Law and Order. That dun 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 dun. I just immediately want to drop kick the TV. I can't do police procedurals anymore. If they're on when I walk in, like the Earl's mother, we lives in my house, and she enjoys the new FBI series that are out, and I'm like, no, because one, the first person that they get in the first 15 minutes of the movie didn't do it, or the show didn't do it. If they did that, the show's over after 25 minutes and it's over.
Sure.
So I mean, you know, it has to follow a certain formula every episode, and I'd rather die.
Well, that's I wish you wouldn't hold your feelings in. It's not good. It's not healthy for you to not get it off of your chest. Okay, well, all right. And by the way, FBI done by Dick Wolf, who does all the Law and Order shows and does all the Chicago episode or series as well.
So
Chicago.
what you're saying is go back in time, pull a John Connor and Terminator, shoot him, take care of all the problems. Don't have to worry about Law and Orders or any of these extras. I like your way of thinking, Lord Cephas.
I just need to say at this point that the views expressed by the Earl of Florida are not those of Midnight Magic Musings, Lord Cephas, its hosts, guests, or callers, and do not necessarily reflect those of YouTube as well. Thank you.
It's
All
a
right.
hypothetical science fiction.
It's something. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give mine, and we're going to keep ours not nearly as violent as apparently the Earl feels towards his first one. I'm going to go into the realm of, oh, how do I say this gently? Reality television.
Ooh.
I'm going Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is a show that has had, I think if I read right, 20 seasons on the air. That means we have seen Courtney, Kim, Chloe. We've seen Kylie, Kendall, all of the family members. Chris, the mother. We've seen all of that for 20 years, and honestly, I don't care.
The
I
fact that
have I
you
have never cared.
the fact that you know their names makes me worry for your sanity.
So I even know the father's name. He was an attorney on the original O.J. Simpson trial. That's where I knew the name Kardashian from. He was one of the attorneys,
Interesting.
which is one of the reasons I understand why Kim wanted to be a lawyer. So there you go. More information than I wish I knew, but I know. So the first one that comes to mind, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I'm gone to do whatever. I will do the honeydew list Gladly over
So,
sitting and watching that. So that's my first one to share
well,
with you.
what about the other like Amazing Race or Big Brother or any other reality
Okay.
shows? Are you? Is it?
Okay. Used to be a big fan of Survivor, but it just kind of got repetitious in that I just didn't find a lot of the contestants interesting, worth pulling for. So I don't watch that as much. I do love The Amazing Race. I've loved it from the beginning, mainly because Lady Cephas and I love to travel and getting to see all these places and dream about being able to go to those places and see that. She will not participate in The Amazing Race with me. She's already said that. Earl, it might have to be me and you one day on the race, or in our case, it may not be a race. It may not be a race. It might be more of a hobble or a limp. But
Imagine those ratings.
yeah, yeah. Look at the old fat guys that getting beat every week. It'd be like wrestling from the late '80s. Preliminary matches. But no, I have no beef with reality television in general. In fact, you could argue a lot of television is reality television anyway. Sports is reality television. Wrestling is reality television. There's so
Well,
many.
scripted.
Yeah, it's well, sports. I mean, boxing. Hello, that's why they have 14 different organizations.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? That's why we pull for Logan Paul.
I
Oh,
just want to point out here that the thoughts and opinions of the Lord Cephas about the sports entertainment industry are not necessarily representative of the Earl of Florida or our YouTube channel, Midnight Magic Musings, or YouTube in general.
it's manual warfare. I'm getting beat with my own words here. All right, Earl, we have each shared one each. We're going to give you the opportunity to go up 2-1. What is your next show
Okay.
that you cannot stand?
Now, again, I'm going to give you a generalization
I like
of
those.
hatred
I see.
and then the origin of such. Um, I don't care about Futurama or Family Guy or American Father. I know that's not what it's called, but I don't care. They're stupid. The dads are all stupid. They're all stupid. And I take offense to that as a father. But, all of these are just ridiculous. And it goes back to the OG, The Simpsons.
Oh,
I hate The
you can't.
Simpsons.
Oh,
Oh, I hate The Simpsons. And you know what? Part of it, I blame the elementary school because you remember those little things don't smoke.
yeah,
Remember, and the figures look like cigarette butts.
yeah.
They look like The Simpsons. Think about it. They have the da 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 da, for the heads, and they're all. So
Okay.
maybe that was just built in that I hated The Simpsons. But you know what? I haven't watched an entire episode through The Simpsons just because it's a knee jerk reaction of turn it off. It looks stupid. And the dad is like, don't. And I'm like, I may make that noise in real life, but I don't need to have it in every single adult cartoon where the father's like, don't. And the stupid idiot who falls down a lot. I can do that in real life. I don't need a constant reminder of that. No. But no, I just, they're stupid. A lot of them have themes that are too mature for my kids, and I don't play them in my house. And so I have another reason not to watch them. And I just dislike them. So I know.
So
Disclaimer.
I have a follow up real quickly.
Okay.
What about King of the Hill? Where do you stand on that?
I didn't care about it when it was on, and I know that they're bringing it back. And you know what? Charcoal over propane.
I
Burn.
believe Hank Hill would talk about a nice, clean, burning propane is what he would talk about. And
Charcoal.
I believe he'd also look at you and go, "That boy ain't right." I believe that's what he would say about what you just shared. All right, so the Earl apparently hates all animation on Fox, specifically The Simpsons, but all animated series. So I'm going to go for my number two, and this is a generalization, and then I'll get to the specific one. I could care less if General Hospital's on. I could care less if One Life to Live is on or if it's now streaming on Peacock or Days of Our Lives. Don't care. Young and the Restless. Don't care. But I'll give you the one that upsets me more than anything because I don't know how it's lasted this long. That is The Bold and the Beautiful. Now, in honor of my grandmother,
She's
we
rolling
watched
over.
She watched those shows religiously. And I remember as a kid her watching The Young and the Restless and Victor Newman and all of these
and
things.
Nick and Victoria and oh Lord,
Right. So Nick has been Nick the entire time. Victoria's changed actresses a couple of times. And then they had the Abbott family because they own Jabot. And yes, I know that. But The Bold and the Beautiful has never made any sense to me. It was about two rival families who owned two rival uh, clothing lines. One was knockoffs, and one was like high scale, high end, right? And they actually launched it from The Young and the Restless. They had crossover episodes, and they actually
yeah.
had one of the characters die from The Young and the Restless on Bold and Beautiful to kind of bring it into that universe. They crisscrossed a little bit, and then you had some characters would die on Young and the Restless. Then they'd show up as a brand new character on The Bold and Beautiful, except they
Yeah.
used to have a mustache, now they don't, kind of thing. It's a 30-minute, and I just don't think 30 minutes, number one, is long enough for something like that, number one. Number two, it just doesn't work. And this is from a guy who likes wrestling. And I'm telling you, I don't like soap operas. So take that with a grain of salt, a large grain of salt, if you will. But I'm just going to say soap operas in general, unless it's wrestling, not a super big fan of. So that's my number two, soap operas.
I can't argue with it, but I know our grandmother's just she's getting ready to do the big splash on an unsuspecting.
I love you, Mama. I love you. I'm sorry. Sorry it went down that way. All right, Earl. What is
You-
the number one program that will cause you to leave the room faster than anything? What is number one on your list? And we could have made a list of 30 strong probably, but we
Mhm.
tried to knock it down to three just to try to keep it moving, keep it light.
For me, there have been shows that have come on after this show that have been disturbing. Like there's one where there's a bunch of figures running around with televisions in their stomach that worship the all rising sun. You know what I speak of.
Uh-oh.
So that was one
Bye-bye.
that came from the kind of show that my number one is. But I didn't always hate this genre because if you go back further, I loved Sesame Street and the Muppets, and they were wonderful aspects of my childhood that I will never forget. But then out came this giant purple dinosaur, and all I want is Chris Pratt to get his velociraptors to tear it apart. I can't do it. I can't do Barney. I can't do Baby Bop. I can't do the song. Where's Sam Neill to put this dinosaur down? I need Barney dead. I need Barney to appear on my number three pick of Law and Order. Dun dun. We must find out who killed Barney the dinosaur. And we know that the first person we choose, Chris Pratt, will not be the real suspect. It ends up being Baby Bop.
Or Laura Dern. Could have been Laura Dern. We don't know.
But no, I hate Barney. I hated Barney when it came out in the early '90s. It was
It
just
was.
it was just disgusting and vile and evil. And you know what? Big Bird sort of went heel and just laid him out with a chair. Concerto. I would watch that Big Bird concerto. Come on.
I believe the response you would receive from those who are supportive of the young dinosaur Barney and Baby Bop would simply respond to you with these words.
I will leave. Don't do it.
You know I'm going to do it.
I will. Don't make me do it.
Okay, well, just Earl, no matter what happens on tonight's broadcast, just know that I love you and I know that you love me. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gone.
Oh, if only it were that easy. We'd be a happy family.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Yes, a great big
Just
hug. A great big,
no.
nope. Yeah, I don't have to have a kiss, but a great big hug from me to you
Why?
because I want you to say you love me too. That's why. All right. Well, the Earl has dropped out visually for the remainder of this episode, apparently. So I will give you my final one. And this one would be a little controversial depending on what your generation is. But I'm going to go into scripted comedy. I'm going to go back to must see TV, and I am going to pick Seinfeld.
Oh, okay. I can see it.
And I'll explain why. I was born and raised in the South. The themes and jokes that played on Seinfeld, which was based in more of the Northeast area, New York, Brooklyn, those areas. Also, this would apply to Friends as well. Did not interest me down here. That was not my life and the way I looked at things, and I was just annoyed by the whole. What's the deal with this right here?
Yeah.
I'm like that just didn't work for me. And then you had all these. Look, neurotic characters don't bother me. I like plenty of shows with neurotic characters, but it just never appealed to me. And I was their demographic. I was a early 20s person, and it just did not work for me. In fact, I remember the night that its series finale was airing. I, I, I was I was in school, and I told my a friend of mine that I've never seen an episode of Seinfeld. He's like, "Oh, I wish I could be you and go back and watch it for the first time." I'm like, "Okay, well that's interesting." So I've never watched the finale, which, by the way, as it turns out, Earl, a lot of people angry with that one. Did not like the
Yeah.
way it ended. I'll
I have
just
no idea
say,
how it ended. I never saw it, so.
oh, pretty much. They all ended up. They went to jail for a year. That's the way. That is the way the series ended.
Wow.
Yeah. So not my thing. So I'm just going to say, as far, ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined by another member of the Midnight Magic Muses family, the Earl's alter ego, the Baron of Bangtown, is here.
The Baron of Box Office Town.
Box office town, oh Tinseltown, if you will.
Exactly. Golden Girls, Star Trek, in the heat of the night, horrible shows. They have unbelievable, unrealistic. You don't. I'm trying to be excited down here. They need to go off the air. They're just horrible things.
Baron, this is our first opportunity to interact on camera live and in person, and I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, thank you for helping out with the Elimination Chamber pay per view recap. I really do appreciate that. But in this case, you are unequivocally 100% without holding back wrong. The Golden Girls will never go out of style. They will always be important to our culture, regardless if they try to rehatch it and redo it and reboot it. It does not matter. We know that Rue McClanahan, Betty White, the author, and Estelle Getty are the four original Golden Girls. There is no replacement for them. Just had to get that out there on the record.
Maybe a hip replacement. See, hip replacement.
Yes, we got that. Nothing like old people jokes to end the show on a pretty bad note. You also referenced you didn't like Star Trek: The Next Generation. Not sure why you don't like Star Trek: The Next Generation. Do you have a specific reason why you don't like that?
The main character should have been Deanna Troy.
I don't know that she would have made an effective captain at the time.
I would have watched it. Riker was great until he grew out his beard. I don't know what's going on with that. It was just bad, bad. And what's up with that Picard guy? I mean, is he bald? Is he shaved? Is he trying to grow his hair out? The first season he had the horseshoe head. Just didn't work for me. Not believable. And they were really trying to get all the talent they could by ripping off Reading Rainbow. And, we know who Jorge LaForge is. Don't even try to say he's an engineer. We know who he is.
Okay, in the order in which you brought that up, number one, it's called character development. When Riker grew the beard, he became more serious and I think a more believable character leading into season three's finale, Best of Both Worlds, with the beard, with the look. I think it worked. He was able to step into command in that series a whole lot better than when the show started. As far as Patrick Stewart, apparently going bald in his early 40s. They did try hairpiece on him. There are stills, there are some footage that's been shot that you can find online. It wasn't working.
That's the trouble with tribbles.
Oh God. Okay. All right. So there's two Golden Girls, Star Trek: The Next Generation. What was your third one? I hate myself for this, but what was the third one?
I don't remember because it doesn't matter. Oh, in the heat of the night, you can say Matlock. All of those were just worthless. They were horrible. You know, they were knockoffs of the better quality shows like the Red Green Show. Now that's a classic.
Oh, I agree. Red Green is a classic show. Actually, I'll let you have
Classic
that one.
crap. You fell for it, Cephas. You fell for it.
Okay, so I'm going to defend In the Heat of the Night before we get out of here. First of all, Carol O'Connor did a great job bringing that show to life from the movie, and kind of carried it over as a successful, well, a successor series, I should say, and it was successful on NBC first. Then it
It
moved
was
to
a
CBS.
movie.
No, it was a series on NBC in '88, and then it eventually moved over to CBS when NBC canceled it. CBS picked it up for the last, I believe, two
Yeah,
seasons.
nobody cared, and they tried to keep it. That's why it was canceled. They're like, no, 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 let's not cancel it.
Well, no, CBS knew it was canceled, but they picked it up and continued the series. In fact, they even did some movies of the week as well within the heat of the night. They cast Carl Weathers as the new chief of police. They put
The guy
Carol.
who got killed by Dolph Lundgren. That's his greatest claim to fame. His hand was eaten by an alligator, but he was a golfer. Happy Gilmore.
I
That's an
think I
Oscar
think
worthy movie right there.
first of all, no, and secondarily, his greatest moment in the movies was his handshake with Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. That is the greatest. That is one of the greatest movie moments ever. With the guns those two gentlemen had and possessed when they locked hands there. So yes, he became chief of police. Carol O'Connor became the sheriff's. He was the head of the sheriff's department there outside of Sparta. I can't remember exactly what the sheriff's department was, but yeah, so that was in Sparta, Mississippi. They brought back Virgil Tibbs for a few episodes as well. He actually went off to law school and got his degree. That's the way they explained his absence. That was some issues that he was having. Again,
Yeah, he
good.
was in a TV show called In the Heat of the Night. I'd be having issues too. Do they not have air conditioning where box fans? Open the
Well,
window, cool off the heat of the night.
well, in the series, they did have a lot of fans going on because it did seem awful hot in the series. It's like HVACs were optional.
So they had a lot of fans in the show, but not a lot of fans of the show. See, yeah.
I see. So, just to make that somewhat palatable to the two people, me and you, who are still listening to this point, in the night shot in Covington, Georgia, also the town that the Dukes of Hazzard was originally shot in as well. It doubled as Hazard County. So, hopefully, with that, we've covered up this train wreck of a show that you have now brought forward to us. We may have to change the episode title to the realm of unreality, featuring the Baron of Tinseltown, I guess you are now going to refer to yourself as. So, anything else before you go? And we really do want you to go.
Stay classy.
What? No, stay classy, San Diego. You're not even going to quote that correctly, Baron.
What are you talking about? I'm talking to the fans. You failed. There's no class for you. See what I did there? Failed class failure. I'm out of here.
Basically, what the Baron is trying not to say is, I'm like an empty school, no class, ha ha ha. Great, it's a Fat Albert joke. Now we're quoting Fat Albert on the realm of reality. Well, this one has gone completely off the rails, ladies and gentlemen. I am sorry that that happened. Believe me, for a lot of reasons. Sorry you had to be exposed to the Baron. Sorry I had to be exposed to him live for the first time, but we survived it as a crew. We do appreciate it. Earl, we're going to have a talk after we're done recording about your life choices, and you're bringing the Baron in on a show when he was uninvited, just kind of busted in unnecessarily, but he was here. Earl, anything else you want to share before we get out of here?
Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, guys, because this might be the last one.
Yes, he threw me off my game with that. The last thing I wanted to say on Seinfeld, why I didn't like it. Julie Louise Dreyfus, I didn't care then. I don't care now. She may run the CIA.
Female, she's female Nick Fury. She's got both her eyes. She's better. That's what we're supposed to believe right now, isn't it?
I hate my life. I just want that on the record. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Earl of Florida and the ignanimous Baron of Tinseltown. I am Lord Cephas. I'm getting out of here while I still can. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time on the Realm of Reality. So long, everybody.